Right, this is a quick walk around video for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel, 2010 registered car with 59,000 miles on the clock. Absolutely stunning looking car, fitted with nearly £5,000 worth of options. These include the most obvious and visual. You can see here this what they call the dynamic body kit. That comprises restyled front and rear bumpers and a high level rear spoiler. This car is also fitted with some really lovely side steps and these gorgeous looking 19-inch Honda alloys as well. I'll just go around the car for you, starting with the near side of the vehicle here. Here you can see more clearly at the front. As you can see on the bumper there, these much deeper bumper with the chrome inserts just below the fog lights there. Fog lights, headlights, all in lovely order. But it really is a very, very good looking car with this kit on it. Coming down the near side of the vehicle, panel work's all absolutely beautiful. Loads of tread on the tyre, alloy wheel in really good condition. If I just come down the panels, there's obviously going to be the odd tiny little mark somewhere on the car, but I mean it is very, very clean and tidy. Rear tyre again, tons and tons of tread and alloy in wonderful condition. If I just crouch down lower, you get a good look at the panel work there. It's all very, very clean. Around the back of the car here, you can see there, high level rear spoiler really does add to the look of the vehicle. We'll come back there. You can see the bumpers on these much more sort of squared off at the bottom as part of the dynamic styling kit of the car. Offside of the vehicle, again, really, really clean and crisp. And the colour of the car is really, really suited to this kit. It really is. Tyre alloy again, very good. Just tiniest little bit of curbing on there. And then just come back this way and just get a really good visual of the vehicle. So coming into the boot area, absolutely cavernous boot. You can see there, obviously tonneau cover's all good and intact. But it's all in really, really lovely condition back here, but they are massive, massive boots. This is the boot that's smallest actually, because those seats, the back seats there, go forward on runners to extend the boot area by good 7 or 8 inches or so. Coming into the back of the car, rear door card there, all really good. Back of the passenger seat and driver's seat, all very good. Sorry, it's getting late in the day now, so the light isn't as good as it was, but I said it's all in really fabulous order. Absolutely tons and tons of rear leg room in these cars. Which is why I always have one in our family. So coming to the front of the car now, so all in very good order. Obviously leather seats, all lovely comfortable seats. Leatherwork's all really good. Bolsters all really good. Obviously leather on the side is designed to crumple as you get in and out, but the bolsters are all good and the leather's really, really good on it. Coming across, obviously centre console there, and passenger seat, again, equally very, very nice indeed. And just to look up here, sunroof, lovely clear sunroof on the car. Obviously on when it's getting dark at night, have it nice and open, but obviously pull the blind, the little switch, the blind just covers over, and next day when it's just open them up, simple as that. So inside the car, obviously engine's running as it has been all the way through, but it's all in really fabulous order in here. Sat nav, obviously part of the EX spec, working absolutely perfectly. If I pop it into reverse there, you've got a lovely crystal clear rear parking camera. But everything works exactly as it should. Ventilation system, air conditioning pumps out ice cold air, we checked that as well. 6-speed gearbox lever, and then down the centre you've got loads of sort of cubby hole space. Heated seats all work exactly again as they should. Coming across the multifunction steering wheel, auto lights, auto wipers, obviously radio controls top left, cruise top right, information display on the bottom right there, and hands-free functions on the bottom left. If we go into the dashboard, you can see there 59,083 miles, engine running, and there's no warning lights on the vehicle at all. But all in all, a really, really fabulous car. So finally, just show you under the bonnet, really nicely displayed engine bay on these Honda cars. Fabulous engines. Obviously sound a lot noisier on the video, unfortunately, than they do in reality when you stood here. DTEC engine, chain driven, so there's no cam belt changes. Unbelievably reliable and tough. But it's said always very nicely presented under here. What should follow now should be a short road test of this very car. Right, this is the road test video for a Honda CR-V. This is a 2.2 EX diesel, the later version with the DTEC engine. A particular car has done 59,075 miles and is registered, if I can read it to you, DK10VDR. The reason we do the road tests is basically we want people to see the cars in operation prior to coming to see us. Also, they're done on roads just outside our business premises, which should mean that they're representative of what you'll feel yourself. But we're clearly now selling to customers from all over the UK and the whole of the EU actually. So in that sense, we just want people to be reassured when they come to us. You know, the very car you're looking to buy, you've seen in operation. You'd be welcome to test drive it prior to buying in the car, but there shouldn't be any hidden horrors, because you know, you'll have seen me give you an appraisal of the car. We've bought this car very recently. Car actually I know very well indeed from a couple of years ago, because I actually owned it. My wife did rather. And we just bought it back off the customers when we always said if they were ever selling it for whatever reason, then we'd be very happy to have the car back. And here we are. So it was a very pleasant surprise to get the phone call, in all honesty. What I try and do on the road tests is pretty well just kind of mimic what you'll do yourself and give you some feedback on it. So I've started the car from stone cold, absolutely first turn of the key, fires into action. Being one of these later DTEC engines, you know, very smooth at idle, you know, compared to the old CTDI engine, which had a few more kind of designed in fairness, kind of whines and whistles and things. This one's very smooth indeed. There's no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or anything else for that matter. And it pulls beautifully. It pulls exactly as it did when I had it. It's a very sweet, strong engine. You know, you're looking at fuel economy can vary hugely. You know, you should be aiming for at least 40. The reality is, I've got customers getting, you know, up to 50 to the gallon out of them, and I've got people getting less by dint of sort of just doing pure town driving. But it's just how you drive them will dictate the economy you can get. But they can be very fuel efficient indeed, with, you know, relatively easy driving style. The engine obviously then runs through clutch into gearbox. Clutch on the cars nice and smooth in operation, bites beautifully, very well modulated, very well judged, beautifully engineered as you'd expect from Honda, but it bites at exactly the right points on the pedal. The clutch then feeds through into the 6-speed gearbox. Another wonderful gearbox from Honda. Nice high mounted gear lever, falls naturally to hand. There's no kind of reaching down or too high. It's exactly the right point. The linkage on this particular example is spot on. It's, you know, they don't really wear that much in all honesty. This one itself, again, the changes are beautifully judged. Synchro meshes of the very highest quality. And you get in some cars, not necessarily even SUVs, that can have horribly vague or lifeless gear changes. This one's short in the throw, it's got a lovely action to it. I can't detect an ounce of wear in it, I really can't. You know, worth pointing out actually before I go on any further, on these videos, don't think it's just a video showing you the car and me saying, you know, driving I can feel something that I'm not going to tell you about. If there's something wrong on the car, I do say, and my previous videos will back that up. So if further in the video I find something, I'll let you know, but at this stage, engine, gearbox, clutch, absolutely spot on. Coming to driving the car along, track's absolutely bullet straight. There's no hint of any vibration or wander from the steering of the car. So obviously it's running on the bigger 19-inch wheels, which run bigger tyres, so they can be more inclined to tramline a bit if the tracking's out. But it's all very good indeed. Likewise, the suspension of the car going about its business really nicely. Very smooth riding vehicles. You know, they're lovely to drive. It strikes a perfect balance between ride and allowing the car to pitch around too much. But also as I'm driving the car, as I'm going over bumps, I'm listening out for kind of bump noises that shouldn't really be there. And by that I generally mean, you know, those little noises which you can feel a bit of wear in the car, and it's nearly always these little drop link, anti-roll bar links, or occasionally kind of suspension struts, which they're just moving a little bit. They're not unsafe. They're passing MOT, but they just clatter and bang a little bit, and I can't stand that, in all honesty. That's why we tend to buy most of our cars these days, you know, from private sources, or sort of main dealer part exchanges, and it means we get a chance to drive them first. If there's something I think, you know, if someone's been happy enough driving around the car with sort of clunking suspension, then, you know, what other things have they missed, you know, and you know, that's why I like these. What I will do in a second, I'm just going to accelerate quite hard up a known very bumpy road. I always pick up as part of the test drive, because if there's any issues with the vehicle, it'll pick up, you know, it'll manifest itself straight away. I'm also going to give the brakes a good hard shove, so not just sort of tootling about, just to see if there's any kind of issues with the brakes, you know, judders or pulsing or otherwise. So we'll just see what happens. Right, that's really good. Basically, engine pulls sweetly, as you probably heard. The brakes solid, pulls straight, and there is no sort of shudder or pulsing. And that's normally, the pulsing is normally if you've got like a warped disc or discs on the car, and it just as it comes around, it pulses noticeably at lower speeds, and it causes judder at higher speeds. But they're nice and solid. Obviously they'll be checked prior to sale anyway, so but all seems in very, very good order indeed. I'm just going to check the cruise control function, which works exactly as it should. That's all good. I've checked most of these things anyway, but want you to see them in operation. As I'm driving along, listening out for noises that shouldn't be there in terms of wind noise, but it's all nice and subdued in here, so there's no kind of obviously damaged seals or otherwise. Coming to the interior of the car, I love these cars. I've had loads of them. Obviously this was one of mine. Brilliant family cars, absolutely fantastic. But the interior I just love. It's simplicity itself. It's nicely styled. It is quite beautifully made. There's not a squeak or a rattle from the interior of the car. We generally only buy the EX models. You know, they're mechanically identical to the other ones in the range, but because they've got such a huge specification difference, we find, you know, selling the lesser ES model a much tougher thing to do. And likewise, a private buyer would find exactly the same thing. They depreciate a lot more quickly. Inside the car, generally in very good order, with only moderate signs of wear in here. And obviously family use car. Sat-nav system all working absolutely perfectly. It's absolute simplicity itself to operate. It really is. Obviously you pop that into reverse and you've got a lovely crystal clear parking camera. So if you're hitching up to something, because this car is fitted with a tow bar, you can hitch right up to it. I've done it myself, so I know it works brilliantly. Climate control system pumps out absolutely ice cold air. We checked that when we bought the car. It still does. It was working well when I had the vehicle. But again, wonderfully easy to use. Very high quality switches throughout the whole of the interior of the car. They do these things absolutely fantastically well. Coming down here, we've got heated seats, and I've got mine on at the moment. In fact, it's a bit too toasty, so I've got it on high, going to put it on the low, but all working exactly as they should. Coming across the main dashboard, classic Honda dashboard, lovely, simple, easy to assimilate information. Everything's working perfectly. Now I'm up to maximum operating temperature. It runs about a third on the Hondas, and that's exactly right on this car. Steering wheel of the vehicle, again, feels fresh and much like new. Nice and easy to use. You've got obviously audio controls top left, cruise control top right, and then hands-free functions on the bottom left, and information display, which you can scroll through different functions on there on the right hand side. But again, you know, everything works exactly as it should. Brings me to the four-wheel drive system of the car. Nothing to really check as such. I mean, I know it works because we do a kind of a little spin the wheels up just to check it's engaging. But Honda have been doing this system, which used to be called real-time all-wheel drive, for decades, and it's a brilliant system because they worked out that 99% of the time people are doing this. They're just driving around in the car. It doesn't need four-wheel drive. If you're running permanent four-wheel drive, it means there's more mechanical friction being sort of lost through the system, or required to run it, and that is power sapping, which invariably means it's fuel sapping, so the fuel economy suffers. It also chews up its tyres far more quickly, and on some manufacturers, I'm not going to name any names, it causes what they call diff wind up and all sorts if you fit the wrong tyres, so you end up having to put tyres on at the same time, which is quite costly if you've got one gets a puncture with half its tread gone. This doesn't. What it does, which is utterly brilliant, if let's say it was snowing today, and you pulled away, your front wheel started to spin, it would then just engage automatically the rear wheel drive. It does it for you, and then it'll disengage it as soon as it realises you don't need it anymore. And it works absolutely brilliantly. My colleague, who goes skiing quite a lot, actually takes the CR-V every single time as the car of choice. So smooth is its transition from front to all-wheel drive that the adhesion is brilliantly maintained. And he came out one morning with the snow virtually up to the over the wheels, and still got out. It's a very, very, very efficient system. But not only that, unbelievably reliable. We've never, ever, ever, and I don't want to tempt fate, I'm sure it'll happen one day, we've never touched one of these cars for a fault with the four-wheel drive system on them. It's brilliant. But all in all, as I said, if there's a problem on the car, I will mention it. I cannot feel anything on this vehicle. It's exactly as it was when I sold it to the lady a couple of years ago, and it still drives absolutely beautifully. Clearly, if I've missed anything out on these videos, then don't hesitate. Please do give us a call, and I'll be happy to sort of go through anything you might want to know about the car. But as a test drive, it's test driven beautifully, and you'll be thoroughly delighted with this car.